So this is TikToker Chelsea Gods. Um, no idea who the fuck she is. Never watched any of her stuff. I don't have a TikTok account. I don't watch anything on TikTok. The only time I see anything from it is when it's passed on to Twitter somehow. Usually because there's some deplorable, repugnant behavior happening there. But wanted to go through a couple moments in this video and respond to some of the stupid shit that this person says. To begin with, she's just mocking Erika Kirk, Charlie Kirk's wife, for I don't know, I guess becoming a widow against her will. Um, Not sure what specifically there is to be mocked about that, but she's found a few things that I guess she thinks is worth talking about here. So just want to hit a couple of spots in this video. I'm not gonna fucking bother you with the entire thing, but here you go.
He was my husband, and I loved him, and he loved me almost as much as he loved America.
So, I mean, right away, she's apparently saying that it's a bad thing to be patriotic and love your country, which is the general mentality that so many of these fucking sick people have. You can't care about your country or its laws or the people in it on any side of the aisle. I mean, it should be completely and totally irrelevant. Common decency should be common and extended to everybody, but not according to Chelsea here, I guess. Loving America, that's a problem for her. What else we got? We got around here.
Battle cry. This widow. The tears of this widow are a battle cry across the whole world and this country. And we will convert everyone to Jesus through thinly veiled threats and possibly violence and threats of violence.
Are you fucking kidding me? Like even if you were trying to tell the joke, that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. The guy got killed in a public forum on a fucking school campus in front of thousands of people, in front of his wife, in front of his children. He was murdered, okay, for espousing Christian beliefs that are in no way extremist or even really controversial among Christian held beliefs. He was killed for that. Me personally, I've never heard Charlie Kirk threaten or even kind of vaguely imply a threat against anyone ever. But I guess apparently Chelsea Gods has a problem with him being religious, specifically being Christian. And apparently this man was just like constantly fucking threatening people all over the place. So much so that him being murdered um, doesn't warrant a moment of self-reflection and maybe like give a pause to this person's brain to maybe not make a video where she's accusing the victims of being the ones that are threatening and or perpetrating violence. Like, that is a brain dead take. Very, very stupid. Point blank. Like, there is nothing she could say that could make that shit make sense. What else we got?
And I want to let everyone out there know that I will continue my husband's legacy. I will continue the legacy of hatred and bigotry that he started.
Again, like, what are we talking about? What specifically did Charlie Kirk ever say or do that suggested hatred or bigotry against anybody? They never fucking cite these things because they know that they would get absolutely shredded on the fucking like right on the front of it, right on the basis of their argument. They don't cite anything because they can't. Because there's nothing in Christian beliefs that espouses any sort of hatred or bigotry against anybody. They just don't like being judged. And that's fine. You can not like being judged by Christians. That's okay. Okay? Part of the judgment is that it opens you up to judgment. So that's okay. We're taught that in the Bible. We know that if we are extending judgment outward, that we're also putting ourselves in position to be judged. That's fine. But judging other people as a Christian is actually an effort that is supposed to be, and in Charlie's case, absolutely was, an endeavor of love. Okay? You are being rebuked by somebody that sincerely and totally believes in the gospel, in Jesus Christ, in your eternal salvation, and he is trying to set you right because he believes sincerely that it will help you make that adjustment, that it will help you make it into heaven, that it will help you turn your life over to Christ. You can reject that. That's fine. That's fine. That's not a hatred from Charlie Kirk. That's not bigotry. That's nothing but an extension of love from a man that genuinely believes that what he is saying to you is the best thing for you, which is something that I think all of us forget, even if you take the religious aspects out of it. I think all of us tend to forget that, for the most part, outside of the fucking crazies that are on the fringe on either side, we believe that our positions politically and our beliefs are what's best for everyone. I don't look at most people on the left, regardless of how stupid they might be, regardless of the incredibly heartless shit they might be doing, like this woman. I don't look at them and assume that they want all of these things that I disagree with because they know it's bad for the country. I don't believe that. I think that they believe that if we opened up the borders and extended fucking amnesty to all the illegals and gave free health care and free everything to everybody at the expense of the taxpayer, I honestly believe they think that's what's best for everyone in the most utilitarian way possible. I do think that. They're misguided. They're absolutely misguided. But I believe they think that. Just like I believe that everyone on the right, for the most part, again, exceptions being for the fringe, believe that conservatism and closed borders and pulling yourself up by the bootstraps and working and meritocracy and these things, they're what's best for the country. Okay? I believe they believe that. And me personally, I identify more with that because I think you have to help yourself before you can help anyone else. Okay? What I don't think is that there are people in large quantities on either side that really genuinely just want people to suffer. That they want bad things for the country, or they want bad things for their political opponents. And then there are people like her, right? Then there are people like Chelsea who seemingly are relishing in the pain and suffering of people on the opposite side of the spectrum, suggesting wild shit like that they are in any way evil or want bad things for people. It's got to stop. People really need to wake the fuck up and understand that that's just not the way most human beings are wired. Now, she might be. I don't know. I hope not. I really do. I hope that this is like her grifting and being generally just a misguided and young, stupid fucking person, and not her intentionally fucking, maligning this man and his widow. But who fucking knows anymore, With behavior like this, it's really hard to make a declaration on that. But we really need to get back into a habit of giving each other the benefit of the doubt when it comes to our intentions and our motivations and what we think of each other with regard to um, what we believe is best for everyone. Do we want good things for each other or don't we? And I think it's better to operate from an assumption that we do than it is to operate from an assumption that we don't. There's one more thing I wanted to look at here.
My husband is better off. He's with Jesus. And he died doing what he loved, defending guns.
Okay, so now she wraps it up with a slam dunk, I guess, in her mind on being Christian, believing in something, believing in anything greater than self, which I guess is a problem for her, and another dunk on gun violence because these people still just don't fucking get it. They just don't. No matter how many times you try and explain it to them, they keep on going back to it and back to it and back to it, and they'll never stop. It's fucking crazy, but like they just don't get it. So, for like the umpteenth time, the Second Amendment is there for a reason. And it's number two for a reason. That reason is because the First Amendment is so fucking precious to the populace that we were wise enough in those days, and our forefathers had enough insight and wisdom to know these are the fucking pillars of a free society. Okay? They're the things that prevent tyrannical governments. They're the things that allow a fucking society to be the best version of itself, to pursue the best version of itself from the totality down to the individuality. Okay? So, we've got things like free press, we've got things like freedom of religion, we've got free speech, things that are absolutely critical to that society and the ideas that our forefathers had for the best version of a country. They came from a fucking monarchy. They came from an oppressive regime. Okay? They had better ideas and they put them into practice through the Constitution after a bloody fucking war, mind you. Okay? Now, those things go number one because they're the most important things to a free society. Why then was number two the right to bear arms? Because you need something to fucking protect the First Amendment. Okay? Once number two goes away, then number one is vulnerable. So all this shit they're doing on TikTok, anything they do in public, anything they do at their fucking job, anything they do in life, if the Second Amendment wasn't there, they could go to fucking jail for it. They could be put to fucking death. There's all kinds of pitfalls that come with getting rid of those precious First Amendment rights. You could have a state-sponsored news at that point. Like they take away the fucking right to press, they start publishing it themselves, you got nothing but a propaganda machine. You don't want that. Okay, freedom of religion. They force you to start believing in something. And if you don't practice it, you fucking get killed. How about that? You want that? No, you don't want that. No one wants that. You want to fucking be able to criticize the government? You want to fucking put in your 2 cents? You want to make your little funny video about how Erika Kirk is a fucking idiot because she She's mourning her dead husband. You know, like, you want to do that shit? Well, you know, maybe you can't because public decency laws are in place now because the government says you can't talk bad about dead people and you get fucking sentenced to death. You know, like, these things are very real possibilities without the First Amendment, and the only fucking thing that this country has to prevent the First Amendment from going away forever is the Second fucking Amendment. That's it. That's the purpose. That's why guys like Charlie Kirk, who is a free speech advocate, you fucking nitwit, that's why he fucking advocated for 2A. That is why. It's not because he wanted to walk around like fucking Yosemite Sam shooting his fucking guns off in the air. That's not what any fucking pro 2A person is. So, for the love of fucking God, go read a book, try and understand the words, and when you get that down, read the fucking Constitution, try and understand the words, and maybe apply it to your life. Then read the fucking Bible, because you need Christ. You need him. You, Chelsea, need Christ, because you are a fucking monster for this video.
Amen.